What if, in the next 60 days, your brain could start acting younger, clearer thinking, stronger memory, better focus, deeper calm simply because of what you put on your plate? Stay with me, because today you're going to see how small food choices can quietly reshape the most powerful organ you have. Most people think brain aging is automatic, that forgetfulness, fogginess, and sluggish thinking are just part of getting older. But doctors who study brain scans have seen something different. When people change how they live and eat, the brain begins to look and perform like it belongs to someone younger. In this video, you'll discover 5 foods that consistently show up in brain-healthy research, plus practical ways to use them, the science behind why they work, and how to build a 2-month routine you can actually follow. Nothing extreme, nothing gimmicky, just clear, respectful science and habits that put control back in your hands. Your brain is not a fixed object. It is living tissue. It adapts, grows, repairs, prunes, and rewires every single day. Think about what that means. Every meal is information. Every bite sends signals that either protect your neurons or slowly wear them down. When scientists talk about a younger brain, they aren't talking about time travel. They're talking about brains that show better blood flow, less inflammation, stronger communication between regions, and faster, cleaner signaling. When those patterns improve, memory improves, mood steadies, focus strengthens. People feel more like themselves again. This isn't overnight magic, and it isn't perfection. It is gentle, steady change created by repeated choices that gradually stack up. And food is one of the most powerful levers available because you make that decision multiple times every single day. Let's start with the simplest change most people overlook: leafy greens. They don't scream superfood, they don't have flashy marketing, but the quiet power inside spinach, kale, collards, arugula, and even humble lettuce shows up again and again in long-term brain studies. These plants are packed with compounds like lutein, folate, and vitamin K that support cell protection, slow oxidation, and nourish the pathways involved in learning and memory. People who regularly eat leafy greens tend to perform better on cognitive tests and show slower decline over time. The reason isn't complicated. Your brain is extremely vulnerable to damage from stress, toxins, and poor sleep. Leafy greens act like protective shields, providing antioxidants and minerals that reduce that wear and tear. The mistake most people make is treating greens like a garnish. Instead, think of them like a base layer. Add a handful to eggs, toss them into soups, blend them into smoothies, or build your meals around a big salad with protein. 1 or 2 cups a day quietly adds up. Berries bring something different color. Those deep reds, purples, and blues are full of plant chemicals called flavonoids that directly influence blood flow and memory centers in the brain. What makes berries special is that they appear to improve both protection and performance. People who eat them regularly often report sharper recall, easier concentration, and less brain fatigue. And unlike many brain supplements, berries also support the heart and gut, both deeply connected to brain health. You don't need to overthink this. Frozen berries work just as well as fresh. Sprinkle them on oatmeal, mix them with yogurt, or eat a bowl after dinner instead of something processed. The key is consistency. A small serving several times a week has more impact than a giant bowl once in a while. Over time, your brain becomes better protected against oxidative stress, one of the most important drivers of aging inside the nervous system. Think of berries like paint that keeps the structure from rusting. Now let's talk about nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. These foods are dense with healthy fats, minerals, and vitamin E, which plays a crucial role in protecting the fatty layers around your brain cells. Those layers act like insulation on electrical wires. When they're healthy, signals move smoothly and clearly. When they're damaged, thinking can feel slower and more effortful. Nuts also provide magnesium and zinc, which help regulate mood and stress responses. Many people constantly snack on things that spike blood sugar and then crash. Nuts do the opposite. They provide steady energy that keeps your brain fueled without the roller coaster. A small handful a day is enough. You can add them to salads, blend them into sauces, or simply keep a small container nearby. Over weeks and months, they help maintain the integrity of your brain's communication systems. They don't feel like medicine, but their impact is deeply medicinal. Fatty fish are another cornerstone, and the reason is simple. The human brain is largely made of fat. The omega-3s found in salmon, sardines, anchovies, trout, and mackerel are building blocks your brain uses to repair itself. When omega-3 intake is low, the brain becomes more inflamed, more rigid, and less resilient. When omega-3 intake is consistent, people often experience improved mood, better focus, and lower risk of age-related decline. Omega-3s also support blood vessel flexibility, which means better delivery of oxygen and nutrients to brain tissue. If you don't eat fish, you can still support your brain with plant sources like chia seeds, flax, and walnuts, though the conversion is less efficient. The important idea is balance. Modern diets overload us with inflammatory oils and give us almost none of these protective fats. Shifting that ratio even slightly can make a visible difference in how the brain functions, especially over a 2-month window. Whole grains and legumes deserve far more respect than they usually get. Your brain consumes a tremendous amount of energy, and it loves steady, slow-releasing fuel. When you rely on sugary snacks or refined white flour, your blood sugar spikes, crashes, and drags your brain along with it. Whole grains like oats, brown rice, and quinoa, along with beans and lentils, provide complex carbohydrates paired with fiber and B vitamins. These support neurotransmitter production, stabilize energy, and help you think clearly longer. People often underestimate how much cognitive fog comes from unstable blood sugar. When meals shift towards slower-burning fuel, energy feels smoother, afternoon crashes fade, and mental effort requires less strain. These foods also feed beneficial gut bacteria, which in turn produce compounds that influence mood and inflammation. That connection gut to brain is now one of the most powerful themes in neuroscience. A healthier gut means a calmer, clearer brain. Here's the deeper question. Why can food make a brain appear younger in the first place? The answer lies in 3 big effects. First, antioxidants reduce damage to brain cells by neutralizing unstable molecules created by stress, pollution, and poor sleep. Second, anti-inflammatory nutrients calm chronic low-grade inflammation that erodes brain tissue over time. Third, high-quality fats and micronutrients support rebuilding. They become parts of cell membranes, signaling molecules and protective coverings. Over time, this reduces the microscopic wear patterns doctors see on scans: less shrinking in certain areas, more balanced activity, improved blood flow. You don't feel this immediately, but like strengthening a muscle, small repeated inputs accumulate silently. After 8 weeks, some people notice sharper recall, steadier mood, and a sense that thinking feels less sticky. It's not about never aging. It's about aging more gracefully, with a brain that remains capable, curious, and resilient. So what would a simple 60-day brain support plan look like? Imagine starting your day with oatmeal topped with berries and a sprinkle of walnuts. Lunch might be a large salad built on leafy greens with beans and olive oil, maybe with grilled salmon a few times per week. Snacks are pumpkin seeds or fruit instead of packaged sweets. Dinner includes a whole grain side, vegetables, and a source of protein. Water replaces most sugary drinks. None of this requires perfection. The real win is repetition. If 7 days pass and 4 of them look like this, You're already changing the biochemical environment inside your brain. Pair that with walking, better sleep, and moments of calm, and the effect compounds. People are often surprised by how light they feel mentally when their diet shifts from processed to whole foods. Thoughts feel clearer. Words come easier. You don't fight your brain, you cooperate with it. Let's talk honestly about expectations, because tone matters here. This is not a miracle ritual that erases decades of habits. It is a respectful partnership with your biology. Some people notice changes quickly: better focus, fewer crashes, less irritability. Others feel nothing dramatic, but their long-term risk quietly drops, and their brain tissue stays healthier later in life. Both outcomes are wins. What matters most is that you understand you're not powerless. Brain aging is influenced by genes, yes, but genes respond to environment. Food is one of the clearest environmental signals you control. Think of this as casting votes. Each meal is a vote for repair or for wear. Over months, those votes add up to a direction. That direction can tilt toward clarity instead of decline. To bring this closer to real life, picture someone who constantly struggled with brain fog. Afternoons felt like wading through wet sand, memories slipped during conversations, and sleep felt restless. Instead of chasing extreme solutions, they began by adding, not removing, a handful of berries daily, leafy greens with lunch, fish twice a week, nuts instead of chips. Within a few weeks, energy smoothed out. They still forgot things, sometimes we all do, but they felt more present, more capable, and less overwhelmed. That's what younger brain really means. Not perfection, but improved function that makes daily life easier and more enjoyable. It's subtle, it's steady, and it's achievable. Another piece people forget is hydration. Even mild dehydration can shrink brain volume temporarily and impair attention. Many people live perpetually slightly dehydrated without realizing it. When you begin pairing brain-healthy foods with clean water, you're giving your cells the environment they need to communicate efficiently. Add in regular movement, which boosts growth factors in the brain and increases blood flow, and you now have 3 pillars supporting the same goal. Food feeds, water transports, movement stimulates. Together, they create conditions where your brain feels supported instead of constantly fighting uphill. You may wonder whether supplements can replace food. Sometimes they can help, especially when deficiencies are present, but food carries a matrix of compounds that work together in ways pills rarely replicate. A blueberry isn't just one antioxidant, it's dozens interacting with fiber and micronutrients. A piece of salmon isn't just omega-3, it's protein, minerals, and compounds your body understands as food. Supplements can be tools, not shortcuts. Start with food. Let supplements fill gaps if guided by a professional. There will be days when you don't get it right. Celebrations, stress, travel, life. That's okay. Health isn't built in single days. It's built in patterns. If you drift off track, simply return to the basics at your next meal. The brain is forgiving when you consistently show up again. And something else happens too. As your brain begins to feel clearer, the motivation to keep going becomes natural. You stop forcing discipline and start enjoying how you feel. Let's bring everything together. A younger acting brain isn't about magic foods or fear-based rules. It's about nourishing living tissue with what it needs: leafy greens for protection, berries for memory, nuts and seeds for cell structure, fish for repair, and whole grains and legumes for steady energy. Layer in hydration, movement, and sleep, and your brain becomes a far more supportive partner in everything you do. Over the next 60 days, choose one change, practice it daily, and then add another. Watch how small decisions compound. Watch how your focus, mood, and clarity slowly shift. And as you go through this journey, remember, Your brain is listening to you. Every day, you get to decide what message you send it. Feed it wisely, give it rest, let it move, and it will respond, often more quickly and more powerfully than you expect.